Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is Big Girl Diary. Okay, all right. Just when you think your spouse, in this case, Wendy Williams' ex spouse, couldn't become any more of a dirtbag, he exceeds expectations. Okay. He took Wendy Williams back to court after when he cheated on her for 15 years, bought his girlfriend a house using her money, right? Then, then Wendy Williams gets sick, and then she has a breakdown, which some people say, as much as she's been talking smack and about other people, she deserves everything what she gets. I'm not even going to go there because Hot Topics, the queen of gossip, that's what she did. Now, when it turned on to her, mm, so Wendy Williams loses her show, and then her husband stops getting alimony. Now, this guy was getting $100,000 a month to be a liar, a cheater, a dirtbag with a little twinge of scum in there that she had to pay him. And she paid him about $100,000 for about 15 months. And then she loses everything. Now, he's screaming, "Oh my goodness, how am I going to pay? How am I going to pay?" Look, dude, it's called work, right? So he came up with this idea after when the judge said, "No, I'm going to kick that idea on out. No, you get zero because she's not working. And you sign that as long as she's working, then you'll get money. If she doesn't work, you get zero." So he got zero because she stopped working and you signed it, Kevin. Right? So here on Yahoo Entertainment News, it says Wendy Williams' ex-husband Kenter Hunter suffered a major setback in court as a part of his $7 million lawsuit against his former talk show host producer. In Touch can exclusively report an exclusive. According to court documents obtained by In Touch on April 8th, which was like what, 3 days ago, the United States Court of Appeals for a Second Circuit vacate in a big win for Kevin 52 in a legal battle. In Touch previously reported back in 2023 when Kevin filed his bombshell lawsuit against his production company behind Wendy Williams' show, Debmar Mercury, along with individual producers Ira Beinstern and Marcus. In his complaint, Kevin complained he was wrongfully terminated for his role as executive producer on the talk show after Wendy 60 filed for divorce in 2019. Well, you got fired because what? Doesn't sometimes, okay, some jobs, your behavior, what you do outside affects your employment on the inside because it damages the brand. Kevin, but I digress. So here, the termination of Kevin was based on strictly upon Kevin's marital status and his impeding divorce to the talk show host, ignoring all of the contribution that Kevin made um, to make the show a success. His lawsuit read, okay. In his filing, Kevin took credit for Wendy Williams' show massive success. He claimed he led the ship behind the scenes and made sure Wendy was taken care of. Or you mean your ex-girlfriend, as you used her money. That's how you're taking care of Wendy Williams, using her money to take care of your lady love. Right, Kevin? Anyway, um, he complained to be responsible for the popular show segment Hot Topics and Shoe Cam. Kevin said he had final say on the guests for the show, and even he input on marketing decisions. Kevin accused the producers of violating the New York law when the firm fired him due to his marital status and said they had no right to terminate his contract. Well, you had no right taking Wendy's money and buying your girlfriend a house, like what, a half a mile away? Really? But okay. Demar Mercury and and the individual producers denied all allegation of wrongdoing in their response. They disagreed with Kevin and his legal team's argument and interpretation of the New York law. They argued that the law said an employer cannot discriminate against an employee based on their marital status, basically whether they were married or not married. Apparently, Kevin thought that he wasn't married. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one alone. So Dunbar argued that Kevin's claim warrant dismissal due to his marital status. Wendy, in particular, is not a protected characteristic by law. They said the New York law did not cover discrimination based on the employee's marital status in a relationship, to be specific. In September 2023, the federal judge presided over the case ruled Kevin's lawsuit could move forward. The judge said, given Kevin's allegation that he was terminated because of his marital impending divorce from Wendy Williams, i.e., terminated because he was no longer married, no longer be married to Wendy, remorse requires this courtroom to find he was stated a claim for the marital status discrimination. The producers appealed the decision and denied the motion to dismiss. And the recent decision in the United States Court of Appeals to court sided with Wendy's talk show host producers. The higher court decided to vacate the lower court's decision denying the producers' request to dismiss the case. The higher court said another court previously ruled in a separate case that the marital status refers to whether a person is participating in a marriage, not the nature of one's relationship with one specific person. The order reads, this reason squarely resolves the question here. Hunter does not allege that he was fired because his status as married or unmarried, the divorce, but instead because his marital status specifically to Wendy. The case was remanded down to the lower court where the court will continue, but the decision to deny the producer's motion will be vacated. Mm. You lost on that one, Kevy Kev. As In Touch previously reported, Wendy is currently under a court order guardianship that she does not believe is needed. So, based on that info, Kevy Kev is still trying to get Wendy's money by any means necessary, and it's not going to work. Kevin, you took your wife's money and was in a 15-year long relationship, and you signed that clause. You signed it. When you got a divorce, you said, hey, sign this, and you signed on it because you know that Wendy's a workaholic. However, you weren't expecting her to have a breakdown based on the crap you were doing. Now, some people may say, Big Girl Diary, BGD, you're being a little bit too hard. Maybe. But he's a sleazebag times 3 to the second power times infinity, Kevy Kev. The man has no shame. Look, wait a minute. The man has no shame because he went and his whole existence was based around Wendy Williams. And executive producers, I mean, she gave him a job to make him feel important because she loved him regardless of what kind of scumbag he is, but that was her scumbag. And then, look, if you weren't working up to your expectations as far as being executive producer, not because that right there is your wife and she's trying, and you're like, let me see, how can I say nepotism? Much, right? But the producers are off the hook. That been vacated, kicked to the curb, heavy Kev. And your girlfriend left you and called you a deadbeat. And she's raggedy for doing that. I mean, look, when you lay in another woman's bed and you know the man is married and you still lay in that woman's bed and you take the money that he gives you that is hers, you are not a woman. You are called an omen. Just my opinion. On that note, hey, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. On that note, I want to thank you for stopping by.